An ordinary morning in the middle of a busy city. It's the kind of morning where everyone walks fast, talks fast, and lives fast. People rush to work, buses honk loudly, vendors shout about their items, and the whole street feels like it never gets a moment of rest. In the middle of all this noise, a young street kid sits quietly near the entrance of a crowded plaza. Most people don't even look at him. If they do, they look only for a second before looking away, as if he is just part of the background. He has a small, worn-out backpack next to him. His clothes are old, faded, and a bit dusty from sleeping outdoors. His hair is messy, and his face looks tired, but his eyes are still bright. Those eyes notice everything, every sound, every movement, every detail of the world around him. People might ignore him, but he observes everyone. Every day he sits in the same spot, not because he's waiting for someone to give him money, and not because he has nowhere else to go. He sits there because, just a short distance away, a retired pianist performs in the plaza. The old man brings a portable keyboard with him and plays soft, soothing melodies that rise above the noise of the city. Music that most people don't even stop to appreciate. But the boy, he listens like the music is food and he hasn't eaten in days. Whenever the pianist starts playing, the boy sits up a little straighter. His tired eyes shine a bit more. He watches the man's hands closely, how his fingers move, how he switches notes, how he turns simple keys into something beautiful. And every time the music stops, the boy's shoulders sink a little, like he's lost something important. People walk past the boy without saying a word. Some avoid eye contact. Some judge him silently, believing he's just another street kid who causes trouble or asks for money. But the truth is, he almost never asks anyone for anything. He just wants to listen. Listening is the only thing that makes his long days feel shorter. Nobody knows that he isn't there to beg. He is there to learn. For months, he has been quietly studying every musician who passes through the plaza. Guitarists, violinists, drummers, singers, but the piano is the one instrument that captures him the most. There's something about its sound that speaks directly to him, something that feels warm, deep, and full of stories. Most evenings, when the plaza becomes quiet and vendors pack their things, the boy walks to a small alley where he keeps a broken toy keyboard. Someone had thrown it away weeks ago, and he found it near a trash can. Even though several keys don't work and the sound is scratchy and uneven, he treasures it. He practices for long hours, pressing the keys gently so people nearby won't complain about the noise. Sometimes he plays until late at night, stopping only when he gets too tired or too cold. He teaches himself everything by listening. If he hears a song in the plaza, he tries to replay the same tune on his broken keyboard later. And with every attempt, he gets better. Slowly, quietly, secretly, but no one knows. To the rest of the world, he is just another invisible kid trying not to get in the way. This day, however, is different. The plaza is more crowded than usual. A weekend event is happening, and many street performers have gathered. The pianist sets up his keyboard near the fountain, just like always. The boy sits in his usual corner, hugging his backpack and keeping his eyes on the keyboard as if it's the most important object in the entire world. The pianist starts playing a slow, emotional tune. The boy closes his eyes, listening carefully. The melody is new, something he hasn't heard before. He tries to memorize it instantly, the rhythm, the way the notes rise and fall, the soft pauses in between. He imagines himself playing the same melody, even though he knows he may never get the chance. As the pianist continues performing, a group of kids walk by and laugh at the boy. They say things like, "He probably doesn't even know what music is, and he just sits here all day like he owns the place." The boy hears them but doesn't react. He has learned that reacting only brings more attention, and attention often brings trouble. So he stays quiet, pretending he didn't hear anything. After some time, the pianist stops playing and stands up, picks up his cup to buy coffee from a shop nearby. The crowd is still there, waiting for more music. Some people look confused when he leaves, but most continue chatting or walking around. The boy watches the old man walk away. His heart starts beating a little faster. The keyboard is right there, unattended for a moment. It feels like a door has opened for a few seconds, and if he doesn't walk through it now, the door will close forever. He hesitates. What if someone yells at him? What if he gets in trouble? What if people laugh? But another thought hits him. What if this is his only chance? He slowly stands up, holding his backpack tightly. He walks step by step toward the keyboard. His legs feel weak, like they don't want to carry him forward. The crowd barely notices him. A few people glance his way, but think nothing of it. After all, he is the same kid they ignore every day. When he reaches the keyboard, he stops. His hands tremble. He's scared, excited, and unsure all at once. He reaches out, then pulls his hand back. He does this a few times, as if fighting a war inside his own mind. Finally, he takes a deep breath and places his fingers on the keys. At first, he presses lightly, testing the feel of the instrument. The keys are smooth, much smoother than the broken ones he's used to. The sound is clean, rich, and full. He closes his eyes, breathes in again, and starts playing the melody he heard just moments ago. The first few notes flow gently, like a quiet river. People nearby turn to see where the sound is coming from. A couple holding hands stops walking. A mother pauses while carrying a child. A group of teenagers look up, surprised. The boy continues playing. His fingers move with confidence, as if they've known this instrument for years. The melody becomes clearer, deeper, more emotional. He plays not just with skill, but with feeling, every note carrying a piece of his story, his struggle, his long quiet nights practicing alone. The crowd begins to gather. Some people whisper, asking each other, "Who is that kid?" Others simply stare in silence. A man takes out his phone to record the moment. A little girl tugs her mother's arm, asking her to take her closer to the boy. In just a few minutes, the same kid everyone ignored becomes the center of attention. But the boy doesn't notice any of it. His eyes stay closed, his face calm, his breathing steady. He is lost inside the music like the world around him has disappeared and only the piano remains. People who walked past him earlier now stand still, amazed. Some look guilty, some look touched. Some look confused at how they never realized this child had so much hidden inside him, for the first time in his life. The boy is not invisible. His music finally makes the world stop and listen. The boy standing near the piano, feeling nervous but also strangely calm. The people around him still don't really care. Some are busy scrolling on their phones, some are talking among themselves. And a few keep throwing quick glances at him, as if wondering why a street kid would dare touch such a big, beautiful instrument. He places his fingers gently on the keys. Even he doesn't know what he is going to play. All he knows is that whenever he touches a piano, something in his heart opens. He forgets where he is, who is watching, or how he is dressed. The only thing that matters is the music he can hear in his mind. It has been that way ever since he taught himself on the old broken keyboard he once found in a trash pile near the market. Most of the keys didn't even work, but the boy still practiced on it every day. Imagining the missing sounds now, standing here in front of a real piano for the first time, he feels like this is a dream he never even dared to dream. He presses the first key. The sound is soft, clean, and warm. For a second, everything else stops. He presses another key, then another. His fingers begin to move slowly, searching, shaping a melody that comes from a place deep inside him. At first, the tune is simple, almost shy. A few people glance in his direction, expecting him to mess up. One man smirks, whispering something to his friend as if this is all just another silly moment in the street. But then the boy's hands start moving with more confidence. The melody grows richer and fuller, flowing like water, rising and falling with feelings he never learned to express in words. Each note carries a piece of his story days when he had nothing to eat. Nights he slept outside listening to the sounds of the city, and moments when he wished someone, anyone, would see him as more than just a kid living on the street. The music begins to change the air around him. People who were walking past slow down. A woman holding shopping bags pauses in mid-step, surprised by the beauty of the sound. A child tugs on his mother's hand, urging her to stop and listen. The man who was smirking before now looks puzzled, as if he cannot understand how a boy like this could create something so gentle and powerful at the same time. The boy, however, notices nothing. His eyes are closed, his head slightly lowered, and his fingers fly across the keys with a grace that looks almost trained. But he has never had lessons, never had a teacher. Everything he knows, he learned by feeling, listening to old videos playing on shop screens, watching performers from far away, and practicing on that broken keyboard until his fingers hurt. His music begins to rise, becoming stronger and brighter. A few people start murmuring to each other. Someone pulls out their phone to record. A teenager who is about to cross the street stops and turns around. Even a vendor nearby, who usually yells at kids to move away from his stall, leans forward and watches silently. The melody shifts into something emotional, almost heartbreaking. It feels like a story about hope fighting against struggle. Some of the people listening feel their eyes sting a little, surprised that a kid could make them feel so much without saying a single word. A middle-aged man who earlier walked past without even giving the boy a glance now stands still, hands in his pockets, staring at the piano like it suddenly became the most important thing in the world. The boy's breathing becomes deeper as he plays. His fingers move faster, chasing after a feeling that has been stuck inside him for years. It is as if he is telling the city everything it never cared to ask about him: who he is, what he dreams of, and how much he wishes for a chance to prove himself. And the music carries all of it, wrapping the listeners in a wave of emotion they didn't expect to feel in the middle of an ordinary day. More people gather. The small crowd grows into a circle around the piano. Cars passing by slow down. A driver sticks his head out the window to see what everyone is staring at. A group of tourists who are taking photos of the buildings now redirect their cameras toward the boy. Someone whispers, "How is he doing that?" Someone else replies, "I have no idea, but listen." The boy's hands move with both strength and softness. The melody now sounds like sunlight breaking through clouds after a long storm. People who had been laughing earlier are suddenly quiet. The entire street seems to slow down, the noise fading behind the music. Even the pigeons nearby stop fluttering around and stand on the pavement as if listening. At one point, the boy opens his eyes for a second and sees the crowd. His heart jumps. He wasn't expecting this. For a moment, he loses his rhythm and almost pulls his hands back from the keys. But as soon as he hears the next note, he feels calm again. The piano is the only place where he feels safe. So he closes his eyes again and continues. The melody softens, becoming delicate and emotional. A woman in the crowd wipes a tear from her cheek. She doesn't even know why she's crying. A man standing beside her feels his throat tighten. The way the boy plays is not perfect. Some notes are stronger than they should be. A few transitions are a little rough, but none of that matters. What matters is the honesty in the music. He plays like someone who has lived through things far beyond his age. People don't see a street kid anymore. They see a musician, a storyteller, a child with a gift that doesn't match his situation. An elderly man steps closer, using his cane to balance himself. He listens carefully, his eyes shining. He once played piano long ago and recognizes raw talent when he hears it. He whispers softly, "This boy." He feels the music. A teenager recording on his phone nods and says, "He's better than half the people I've seen on stage." The boy's hands glide across the keys, creating a pattern of notes that swirl like wind. The energy rises again, stronger and more confident. Some people begin to smile. Others simply stand frozen, their attention locked on the young musician. Finally, after what feels like a long, beautiful journey, the music begins to slow down. The boy gently reduces the pace, letting the melody soften until it becomes almost like a whisper. Each note fades carefully into the next, like the last pages of a story. His fingers press one final chord, a gentle, warm sound that seems to float in the air for a long moment. Then everything becomes quiet. For a second, the street is completely still. No one speaks. No one claps. Everyone is too shocked by what they just heard. Even the boy doesn't move. He keeps his hands on the keys, breathing slowly, unsure if he should look up. Then, slowly, someone starts clapping. Then another person, and then another. Within seconds, the entire crowd is clapping so loudly that people from even farther away turn their heads in curiosity. The applause echoes along the street as if the buildings themselves are cheering. The boy lifts his head. His eyes widen when he sees the number of people around him. Some are smiling warmly. Others look emotional. A few are still recording. A couple of children are jumping with excitement. The elderly man with the cane raises his hand slightly in a small gesture of respect. The boy doesn't know what to say or do. He has never been applauded before. He simply gives a shy, small smile. His cheeks grow warm with embarrassment. But inside, his heart feels lighter than it has felt in a long, long time. The crowd slowly begins to approach him. Some ask him how he learned to play. Others want to know his name, though he doesn't offer it yet. A woman places a small amount of money near the piano, not as charity, but as appreciation. Others follow her example. Soon, a small pile begins to form. The boy looks at it with disbelief. He never expected anything like this. All he wanted was to touch the piano once. Just once. But what he gave the people that day was something they didn't expect. A moment of pure, honest beauty. Something real in a world that often feels rushed and cold. And although he doesn't know it yet, this moment will change everything for him.